Well, that sucks.
Wasn't a great game. Wasn't a bad game. Sort of an game, would you say?
Last half was okay.
Yeah, it picked up a little bit.
Quiet first period, picked up a little bit in the second. Wrong outcome, but got a little more exciting.
Yeah, it was two pretty good teams, both pretty tired. Really good goaltending performance. Not a lot of finishing. A couple of grade A's.
Kind of like our shows.
A lot of Swede, no Finn. Heyo! This is the Dallas Stars postgame show here on DLLS. Stars lose to the Hurricanes 2-1. Let's break it all down. Sam will join us later. Producer John is back, which means we've got a full array. He's got the big board running, not the little one, right? It's the big one. He knows what I'm talking about. Inside Out 2 size. Here, let's get it started.
Get it ready, boys.
Or should I say, safely riding through the intersection in the cold in Dallas.
Look like little Elon Musk riding around the corner there.
That light, pretty visible.
Yeah.
Safety first here, folks. As the Stars lose to the Hurricanes, this is the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show. Owen Newkirk alongside Craig Ludwig and producer John Anderson is
And I've
back.
also got for you, Owen. This is a real photo of Owen's face after he pulled in.
Yeah. It was a little windy tonight, but not too bad. But yeah, I've been in colder weather up north. But
There's a movie I've seen.
have you?
I know that one.
There you go. All right. Sam Nestler, our beat writer, will join us a little bit later. He's over at the AAC. And, of course, don't forget, we will get to your chats. Line up those super chats. We're here to talk about it for the next hour as the Stars do not win tonight against a very good Hurricanes team. And let's break it down. Luds?
Can we just skip to the second period?
You say
no,
that.
you want to go through it. Let's go through it. Let's
No.
get through it quickly.
I have three things to point out. Actually, I have, three total things.
Okay.
Four. I have four.
You're manufacturing things.
Nope. The first thing was the Stars had a power play early in the game, right? They got the man advantage. Svechnikov was called for slashing .443, so under 5 minutes. The top power play unit had a couple of chances. One was a really nice pass by Duchesne to Wyatt Johnston backdoor, but he really didn't get much on that.
I honestly think that because it went through the crease.
Yeah.
It went through the paint. I think that there was a thought in his head that the goaltender, a lot of times goaltenders will stick their, little paddle out there for that. I think I don't know if he could see it completely or he thought maybe he was just going to get tipped.
You think it just lost his concentration for that?
Yeah,
sort of disrupted
it was in so tight to the goaltender's feet. I didn't think that he felt any chance it would get through.
There was a block shot that went to Robertson for a rebound. He took a shot. Good save by Kochetkov. But the point of the Stars' first power play was at about 1:05, remaining on the man advantage, there was a stoppage. So the second power play unit came out.
You're stirring the pot with this.
Yeah.
Stir away.
We're here to chat.
Stir away.
Okay. Miro Haskin was the only guy that didn't come off the ice. So they changed the four forwards, but the defenseman stayed. And he remained for the second power play unit group. They did not create any quality chances. And then with about 15 seconds, they sent out the fourth line and Thomas Harley to finish it off, which in some senses, I understand you don't want to get caught with the guy coming out of the box, but it's sort of an admission of defeat with 15, 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, it was over. I mean, everybody had their little chance except the guy that we want to see get a little more time out there. So, it's hard to when you watch. We're talking about Miro now, right? When you watch Miro, there's not things that he's doing wrong. I mean, with the only exception, we would probably ask him to shoot a little bit more and get it up a little more earlier and get it up often. But again, if you watch the power play, a lot of times there's not really anybody in front of the net or even a couple guys that could be near the net. So reality is the goaltender's probably going to make the save, set it down. They're going to clear it anyways.
The Stars then take a penalty. And this is the next thing I want to talk about. Brendan Smith was called for holding at 7:25. He didn't really like the call.
He shouldn't be disappointed because the referee was standing right there, and what he did is he took his left hand and he grabbed his shoulder pad just enough to where, and if a referee sees that pad go back or that jersey go back, and then he falls, he's going to have to call
visual cue.
Yeah, he's going to have to call it holding.
Sam Steele didn't like the call a minute and 3 seconds into the power
come
play.
on.
When I watched the replay,
I think both feet were in the blue paint.
he hit Kochetkov
of course.
clean. It was an obvious goal here.
I don't understand what he could complain about there.
He was complaining, and at first glance, I remember Sam was sitting next to me. He goes, "Oh, I think he really sold that." Then I watched the replay. It's nope, square in the middle of the paint. I don't know what he was yelling about, but he clearly made contact with the back of the leg. There's no reason for him to get cut that close.
No, none.
On the positive side for Dallas, their penalty kill looked good. Carolina's power play has been dreadful lately. Really, really bad. In fact, their slump coming into tonight was 1 for their last 28. That's 3.8% over the last 10 games. The only power play they scored was January 12th against the Anaheim Ducks. Luddy, you know I've complained about Dallas's 5-on-3 and being too stagnant, dusting it off too much. It's exactly what Carolina's 5-on-3 looked like.
I just wrote down awful.
Yeah.
It surprises me that they went with 3 at the top, or on the side and top, and they took the other 2 guys and put them in front of the net. And so as a penalty killer, all you really have to do is you tighten your triangle up and you don't let anything get through from the point. And the 2 guys that were wide were too wide, so there weren't even lanes to get through. So Dallas did a great job adjusting and saying, hey, they want to play like this. We're going to tighten it up. They're not going to get anything to net. They're trying to get pucks to the net so that they can outman you in front 2-1. They couldn't even get them through the net. So give credit to Dallas on this one. They were smart enough to play it.
The penalty
right
kill
way.
was really, really sharp.
It was great.
Let me tell you this. I was only there for 2 periods because obviously you saw the scooter. We have evidence that I came back for the 3rd period here to the studio, so I wasn't late for the postgame show. Lindell was phenomenal tonight, and he always is, but he was particularly noticeable in all the little things that he does so well, blocking shots, intercepting passing lanes, positionally perfect, clearances, holding guys off physically. He's a machine.
What I like the word that you use is noticeable. That's if you're watching him. Because if I try to tell players all the time, and they're going to watch Miro, they're always going to watch the big guys, but watch how and what Essa does. It's very subtle. He never loses really position on any player. He plays within the system that they want to play, but he's close enough to get back to the front of the net if he has to. His outlet passes are exceptional, and he doesn't try to throw a bomb here and there, and if he just gives it to the guy that's open, and if he sees somebody up the middle of the ice, he generally makes the right play. And his flippers are incredible. He's one of the best I've seen. There's no patience. I had our guys. I tried to do it for the last week. I was trying the old flipper play.
Practice?
In practice at our rink. Now, we have the clock in the middle, so it's a little difficult.
But
regardless, when you're doing it on your own and it's flipping off your stick and falling at the top of the circle and things like that, I mean, it's definitely an art. There's a lot of teams that do it, but Essa's always seemed to be right on point because he can land it almost at the faceoff circle because by the time the 2 guys start stretching out of the zone, those defensemen have to respect that. And I've used this analogy before. I mean, it's like that punt receiver back there. And, you got guys come flying at you, and you can't raise your hand.
Get those
in hockey.
happy feet.
Well, and you can't raise your hand in hockey because all of a sudden,
that's right. There's no fair catch.
No, because if the puck is close to you, somebody should be running you over. So it's a good play as long as you have guys that can do that. And as far as that, now it went wrong for one of the defensemen tonight, and which led to a goal. And I'm sure you want to talk about that.
I will. Dmitry Orlov with a wrist shot from the top of the right circle hit the left post. That was the first high danger chance I had of the night. There were 2 more, and they belonged to Logan Stankoven right at the end of the period. He had a one-timer at the top of the crease. Great save by Kochetkov. And then his backhand rebounder hits the left post. And a couple people were in the press box were tweeting out, hey, great recovery save by Kochetkov. It wasn't a save. It just died in the crease. To his credit, he athletically flopped and fell on it. So he was able to spin, find it, and cover it. But it wasn't the save. It was literally the post that saved him.
Yeah, and the first thing he did right is he turns around and looks. He sees where the puck is laying.
Without moving his legs.
Exactly. He's just standing still. And so he looks over his left shoulder, his right shoulder. He finds where it is, and he locates it. And I think a lot of times goaltenders will probably just drop down on that, and then somehow accidentally they'll kick it in the net. He doesn't do that. He spots it first.
Well, that's the way the period came to an end. The shots were 7-4 Carolina.
Yeah, it was a fast-paced.
I mean, if it wasn't for those three little things at the end of the period, think about this. Carolina had a 5-on-3. They did very little with it. They only had 7 shots for the period. Dallas, who's supposed to be the fresher team, only had 4. It was really, really hard to get anything going in that first 20.
Well, John looked over at me at the end of the first. And he said, "Luds, was there anything notable?" Well, he put something in there.
Mm-hmm.
He tweeted something that I didn't say.
You no.
No, come on.
You verbatim said that was the worst period of hockey I've ever seen. Don't try to tell me you didn't
That
say
sounds
it.
like hyperbole.
I'm not sure I said it exactly like that.
No,
The
you
point
said it
was
exactly
you
like
weren't
that.
supposed to tweet it out. Like it came from me.
I literally said Luds. So if I type
You
it like
use the
this,
word notable, which throws me off. Anything notable.
Is that a big one? Notable?
I mean, he just
that's a big word.
talked about notable for when I said it about Essa. He was
Did I
noticeable.
say notable?
Noticeable.
Noticeable. He said notable.
Those are two different words.
They're two different
Notable
words.
is
He asked
shorter
me if there was
than
anything notable. And 11 shots. I mean, no.
Yeah,
nothing.
it was the
It was
Stars,
a dull period.
they didn't do a
was
whole
dull.
lot, even though there were penalties. I mean, think about this. There was a 5-on-3, and I still went, ugh, that was a boring period.
You know, it was a good period for Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, the coach is coming out of that going, good job, guys. We kind of put them to sleep there. We kept the crowd out of it. And now, a lot of times when you play the night before, you always think you're worried about getting off to a slow start. And then you get your feet moving and it kind of moves down the road a little bit. And that's exactly what happened for him.
Early in the second period, Evgeny Dodonov ends up with the scoring chance on a Stars 4-on-2 rush where Miro hustled into the play. But this scoring chance was a sharp-handle backhand shot bank shot from basically below the goal line, and Kochetkov handled it easily. What went wrong there? Because they had numbers.
Well, I felt like it was Robo that took the final shot, I believe. And I thought he just ran himself out of room. A lot of times you'll see Robo when he gets in tight like that and he's off to one side or the other, he kind of slows up and he starts to cut back to the middle. Now, I heard the announcers giving Chattenfield, did a good job on that. He didn't do anything on it. I mean, he really didn't. I mean, he actually turned his back. I think Robo got caught up in his mind thinking of one thing, and he didn't have enough time to cut back to his forehand.
Well, then Kotkaniemi, who we will talk about plenty tonight, had a wide open chance at the crease all alone. He backhanded it over the net from
like
the top
inside
of
the blue paint,
Yeah.
right? That's hard to do.
It was a tough one to do. And I sent you a screenshot just off of my computer real quick to the text group because I said, how the heck did that happen? And in a very close-up corner shot from the ESPN broadcast, there were 3 Dallas Stars defenders, one defenseman and 2 forwards, staring at the puck.
That happens.
Not watching their men.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right.
So that wasn't great.
Preach it, Owen. Preach it.
I will. Well, it got better for the Stars except for the finishing. Logan Stankoven had a really nice chance from Sam Steele. Grade A right at the low left circle. Kochetkov made that save. Jamiebenn wide open in the low slot
Point
from Duchesne.
blank.
Huge save, Kochetkov.
Point blank, Jamie.
I mean, what a pass from Duchesne. But we see Duchesne do that all the time.
Yeah.
He is a setup guy.
well, he likes that side of the ice.
He does.
That's why he wants to play over there, and he wants to be on his forehand and make those kind of plays.
The third of what would be 4 ridiculous scoring chances over a stretch where the Stars could have taken the lead belonged to Colin Blackwell, who stole the puck and had a long breakaway, deked into the pads of Kochetkov.
Yeah, the goaltender didn't move at all. He didn't have to do anything.
No.
He just stayed there, and he was actually easy. Put one leg on one side of the net and on the post, one on the other side, because Blackwell didn't pull him over at all. I mean, he tried to make that go to my right, come back to the left, and he really didn't go right much at all, and he just kind of went left and skated right into him.
Good save by Kochetkov.
Yeah.
And then Jason Robertson, open wrist shot, top of the crease. What a setup.
That was like, here, I'm going to put it in your glove.
He shot it right in the glove.
Yeah.
But credit to the goaltender for, again, putting his glove in that position.
And you reach a little bit. The more you reach out for it, the player that's shooting it can't elevate it. It doesn't go up that as quick. You kind of come out and cut that angle down.
There were a couple of questionable decisions or missed calls that the fans were upset about. I don't know if the fans got super irate about this, but Maverick Bork tried to avoid Kochetkov in the trapezoid, but if you look at the play, the Carolina goalie poke checked Bork in the restricted area. The puck hadn't quite. Now, I tried to screenshot it. Unfortunately, because of the camera angles and the sticks and legs and stuff, you can't really see it when he makes contact. But if you go a frame or two before, you can clearly see Bork has it in the corner, the area where the goalie's not allowed to play with the puck. And he reaches in. I think Kochetkov realizes he's in trouble. He's stranded behind the net. And so he just throws the stick and goes for the poke check. Bork, to his credit, avoids crashing into the Carolina goalie. He could have just run him, which would probably have been a penalty. And so he kind of avoids him. He goes flying. And yeah, again, at the end of the day, it gets sort of swept under the rug, but it's an illegal play by the goalie and they missed it.
There we go. They missed it.
Yep. And that happens. And next, we'll talk about the first goal here on the DLLS Dallas Stars postgame show.
First, it's Empire. With Empire today, you get shop-at-home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire is your one-stop flooring shop. They want to provide the best and most efficient service. It's not the most affordable, but you will have the best experience working with Empire. Empire today is the best place to get your new flooring. So, of course, they have copycats, but Empire can't be beaten on quality, service, speed. So competitors advertise low-quality products that Empire simply won't carry. Empire won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs. Empire's philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. What they leave out of their selection is as important as what they put in. Shopping for floors at a big box store can be very frustrating. You might talk to someone today who's working as a plumber tomorrow. Schedule your free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code DLLS. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DLLS for details.
Thanks, Let's talk about the East-West Shrine Bowl. It's America's oldest college football all-star game, which is being held right here in Texas on January 30th. So 9 days from today, be a part of history in the making at the 100th East-West Shrine Bowl at AT&T Stadium. Since 1925, the game has benefited Shriners Children's and its mission to provide innovative pediatric specialty care to improve and transform the lives of children. The East-West Shrine Bowl has served as the starting point for many noteworthy NFL careers, including 80 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and more than 200 members of the College Football Hall of Fame. Tickets start at just $20 and use the code DLLS when purchasing 2 or more tickets to receive 50% off. Visit shrinebowl.com to buy your tickets today. All right, we go back to the game recap, and Luds, this is where the Hurricanes got the lead, and it belonged to Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who fired a shot. I did not deem this a high danger, but I do think that Jakeoettinger was screened on the play. As
Do you?
It looked like that shot went through the legs of Brendan Smith. Do you think that he didn't ride the stick? Because
I didn't see that, but I'm sure it's possible.
Yeah, they showed an angle, a side angle where we wanted to see if it maybe hit his stick and rode up a little bit. It did not. It went through the legs, and Otter just couldn't see it. It wasn't that. I mean, honestly.
So you think it changed directions?
No.
Okay.
I think he just didn't see it and didn't pick up on it quickly. He didn't track it well.
He has that same posture when goals do go up there. It's like he's down and he's holding glove up,
and just doesn't
like
see it. Yeah.
I think sometimes that maybe he did see it, but he has his glove in the right spot and doesn't believe that there's any room above it.
So remember, there were 4 grade A. I would say even 2 of those were like double grade A. The jamiebenn one and the Jason Robertson one. One-on-one right in front of the net. Couple of great saves. Obviously, the Blackwell breakaway. The shots were, again, paltry. 7-6 Carolina in the second. So it was 13-11 shots after 2 periods of play. Honestly, Luds, the way the Stars played. Now, again, they had way more. They had 6-2 after 2 periods, high danger chances. That's better for Dallas, but they didn't make make Carolina pay for it.
Yeah, a lot of credit has to go to the goaltender. He had a heck of a game.
Yep, and he was really good.
Quality chances.
Go to the third period, and you were right. The third did open up a little bit. It was not as snoozy and low energy as the first 2 periods, especially the first. But Dallas was fighting, trying to get interior, getting grade chances. Maverick Bork had a great chance. One-timer in the slot, hit the post.
Yep.
Clear.
I didn't think he got it all either. I felt like when there was one look at it, the puck looked like it kind of just stood up before he got it. But, I mean, he got everything into it, the timing. And sometimes it was a hard pass that came across. So sometimes it's not easy to catch up to it exactly if you'd like to.
Stars get a power play because of a Sean Walker interference penalty in the third period. And this was everything, I think, but a goal. I thought they had good chances. They had Robertson and Hintz get opportunities in the slot. Jamiebenn had a nice stuff rebound. Then the grade A I gave was Hintz's one-timer from the mid-slot. I mean, they're doing the things. It wasn't perimeter stuff. They moved it around. They got something, either cross-slot or in the slot. Kochetkov just made the saves.
Yeah, he was in the right place at the right time. I mean, if you could take a can of spray paint and draw it, a couple of feet outside each post, come out, do about the hash marks, and draw that square. That's where you want to be getting your chances from because they're quality chances. And that time there was bodies there. There was traffic. They did everything right for at least that one, but just didn't put it in the back of the net.
There are plenty of nights, especially at home, where we criticize the Stars' power play. To me, this is not one of those nights. They just didn't have one go in, and you need those. But let's face it, Carolina's penalty kills very good. They came in ranked second in the league, and the Stars were first, so you knew it was going to be tough. And they just didn't find a way to get it in, but they created plenty of chances, and I thought they created some momentum. And right after the power play ended, it didn't count as a power play goal, but it was sort of an extension of it. Thomas Harley scores as he gets his 7th of the year at 10-11, ties the game at 1. Johnston and Haskin in the assists. This is crashing the net.
This is a product of your power play that created momentum because now when the next guys come out there, there's that bump, that jump that you have to follow that power play up, and that's exactly what this was. They had the same MO. Wyatt does a great job. He comes down, and he hangs on to it just long enough that he can get it to the front of the net from the post down below the goal line. You can get it between the goaltender's left skate and the post, and that's how Thomas Harley ended up getting his stick on it. Credit to Harley because he was kind of getting tied up and spun around. He still found the puck and was able to stop it and just pop it into the net.
The Stars were better than the Hurricanes in the third period. They created more shots, more chances. I believe the shots at the end, they didn't get – yeah, sorry. I read that backwards. Second period was 7-6 shots in favor of the Stars, not Hurricanes. It was 12-6 Dallas in the third. Now, part of it because they were trying to tie the game, tied it, and then 24 seconds later, Carolina answered. And here we go again. The shift after a goal, they concede one. This one time it was Kotkaniemi again. His second of the night, 9th of the year, and he scores off his skate on a Sean Walker rebound, and it's 2-1, and that's the game winner.
The bottom line is they kind of, depending on what side you're on, they trade ugly goals. And again, it was a result of finding ways to get into the crease and get bodies into the crease, and it either hits somebody, goes in, or hits your stick, and luckily you keep it in control and it goes in, and so that's how we stay.
There were two notable non-scoring chance moments in the third period after that. One was Jakeoettinger got interfered with. Now, goalies will many times come into the middle of their crease when one of their teammates has the puck behind the net to try to create a little bit of a wall for a forechecker so they can't just go through the crease. And they'll turn sideways. And in the first period, Sam Steele clipped the back of the leg of Kochetkov. It was a clear penalty. We talked about it. This time it was the front leg of Oettinger that got interfered with or run into. The thing for me is, look, refereeing is a hard job, right? It's not easy, and it's a fast game. And if you're looking at a play and you don't see something in your periphery well, or there's only 2 refs, it's way better than when you played when there was 1 referee because they missed a lot more then. There's half as many eyes, and it felt like back in the day when there was 1 referee, it was the guy that retaliated because some guy would take a shot, no one would see it, and you'd hear the crowd go, "Oh," and the ref would turn and he'd see the guy come back and retaliate, and that was the penalty. Now with the 2 refs, I feel like they see a lot more.
Oh, yeah,
but they missed this one.
Well, is Jake fronting the guy?
Even if he is, he's entitled for his crease, right?
But if you're fronting the guy, it's totally different because you're going to ask how are they different.
Yes,
right?
I am.
Goaltender was facing into the corner when Steele ran him. He didn't do anything. He did not put himself in that position.
Do you think that
Jake comes out and puts himself then? Now, are you saying he was completely in the crease?
Was he?
I think he was tap dancing on that.
You think Jake was on the edge? Chekhov was
just on
clearly
the
in the
edge.
middle of his crease.
Yeah. And so I think they're saying if you're aware of where you're going and there's really no traffic and things around you, you're coming out there to be an obstruction, so to speak, then I think it's completely different than what happened on the steal penalty.
So that's one. The other one was Brendan Smith. Originally, they tried to give Ilya Lyubushkin a delay of game penalty. Then Brendan Smith said, no, that was me. And then he said it took a deflection. And upon further review, he was right. You could see Smith from the penalty box yelling over to the bench, challenge that.
Yeah.
Now, last year, that rule wasn't in place. This year, if a call is made, you can use a coach's challenge on a delay of game if you feel it's been wrongfully assessed. You can't use it if it's a delay of game that wasn't called. So if you flip it out into the crowd and the refs don't call it, you can't challenge it for that, but you can try to overturn one, and that's exactly what happened. It's the first time we've seen it this year with the Stars.
I would say that the guys downstairs would have probably caught it, but it's nice to know the guy that shot it, and he's screaming at you too because he knows, because it was only a couple feet away. I mean, and he saw exactly when it hit the shaft of the stick and went out.
And when you're back there trying to clear a puck, if it takes a tip or a deflection, it's like the shooter at the other end, right? Mm-hmm. You're right down the sight line of where it goes. You usually see that.
Yeah, generally you do.
So,
Backhand's not so much.
Right.
Just because you're kind of facing a little bit to the side and away from it, but on your forehand and there's nobody else in between you and the player that it hit, you're 99% what happened.
So with that, it stayed 5-on-5. The Stars had one more chance, actually, Luds. That was it. The Hurricanes were kind of on their heels. Then the Jordan Stahl line came out, had a couple of chances, and just a good shift to sort of calm things down. And then all Dallas had left was 6-on-5, and they could not get anything. The closest was Duchesne took a shot from the right circle quickly, which is important. He didn't mess around with it. And it took a deflection off of Slavin and then hit, I think, another body and went wide. But that was the closest they got to a scoring chance in 6-on-5 play.
Well, again, I think you have to credit Carolina, the way that they had their structure set up when they're, a man short on that situation. The goaltender, they knew the goaltender was doing a good job, and they kind of put a wall around him to make sure that they're taking the good areas of the ice as much as they can, and you're going to make you shoot from outside of that area, or you're going to have to go through them.
So at the end of the night, the Stars had more quality chances. They clearly had more high danger chances. Is this just a case of they got goalied?
Again, I think if you're Rod Brendamore, the first thing he said to the guys when he walks in the room, he goes in there all the time, and he's always very positive. I would guarantee the words he's going to say, it was a gutsy win. It was a, tough travel, not tough travel. I mean, they came from Chicago. It's not a big deal, but they played the night before, and it was a close game that they had to go. And they
actually had to rally to win that thing.
And they come into town against a really good team and a team that plays really well at home. So they knew that they were going to have their work cut out for them tonight. They found a way to I thought they dialed their game down a little bit. They weren't as open, and they direct a lot of pucks, but they made sure that there weren't a lot of pucks because of the way Dallas can get out of their own zone. They didn't help them. They didn't miss the puck or the net wide a lot tonight with shots. They made sure if you're shooting and you're getting it on net, it stays on the short side because we have numbers here. If you want to get into foot races with Dallas, it creates more outnumbered rushes.
So in the end of this, you look at this game and you lost to a good team. They certainly weren't overwhelmed. The thing that surprised me this year was both the Stars and they're very similar teams in a lot of ways.
Well, when you go look at stats and things like that, I was looking this morning. I mean, they're right next to each other all the way up and down, a lot of them.
And last year, Dallas was the best road team in the league. Carolina was right up there. This year, both have regressed. Now, Dallas has been better of late, right? They went from being a couple games under 500 to now 12-9-0. They're right in the mid-pack. But that's a far cry from the best road record in the league. Well, Carolina gets their 11th win to get to 500. They were tied for 20, so they're within. Basically, they have this one more game played or two more games played, same number of points as the Stars. So
here's what I think.
What do you think happens between two teams that were so good on the road last year and just kind of regressed to the middle?
I think the schedule is catching up to everybody because of the break coming up. And they're at the start of this and getting games in, and then you come back and you're only going to have, what are they going to have, 25 to 30 games left, somewhere in that neighborhood. So everything is compressed right now. And I think and everybody's got these schedules where you're playing 8, 9 games in a very short period
In like
of
a
time.
2-week period. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think everybody's kind of getting a little fatigued. We saw the only one that doesn't seem to be getting fatigued to me is Washington. They just kind of, I don't know what happened tonight against Edmonton, but
They were winning when we came downstairs.
okay, yeah,
They're still winning.
Yeah, so they've
3-2.
been on a roll. I think Winnipeg's kind of come back, and some of those teams that got out running, and now the schedule's kind of catching up to them. And when you lean on a lot of your good players night after night, and you're trying to do that in these kind of schedules, eventually they're going to get worn down, and they're going to have to start allotting some minutes to some of their third and fourth line guys. I think that's why the goals start coming down a little bit too, because you can't just roll your top guys out there this whole time. They're going to get burnt out, even though they're going to get a little rest. But then some of the key guys are going to be playing in this. They don't get a rest. So it's the middle of the pack and the bottom of the pack when these 2 weeks are off from that are going to be recharged a little bit.
Up next in the DLS Dallas Stars post-game show, we are going to take your super chats, look at the regular chats if we don't get a ton of them. I know there's a couple already, so let's chat it up. But first, let's talk about Sleeper. And let's face it, it's the best fantasy league platform out there. You can put your ball knowledge to the test by picking whether your favorite or least favorite players will have more or less than their projected stats each week. Tomorrow, Mark Scheifele, Letty talked about the Jets, is tied for the third most goals in the NHL, but hasn't scored in his last 2 games. I have Scheifele netting one as the Jets face the Avalanche in Colorado, earning you over 2.5 times your money. With Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. Sleeper keeps you in the loop with instant alerts for breaking news and major injuries. Stay ahead of the game and keep track of league updates in real time, so you're always informed and ready to outsmart your friends. If you think you have what it takes, new users can download the Sleeper app and use the code DLLS STARS to get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. Apply it to any contest, doesn't have to be on your first. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Now let's talk about Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. I was wearing a pair of the Timber ones as I drove downtown this afternoon and the sunlight was setting. It's bright. Having those polarized glasses make it so much easier to see the road, not have to squint with so much glare, even if it's below your sun visors. Well, Shady Rays has hundreds of options to choose from, so you can bound to find the perfect pair. And if they ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, you don't have to worry about it. They have the most insane protection of all eyewear, backed by lost or broken replacements. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code DLLS for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try it for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. All right, John, take over, Mr. Bing Bong.
Here's your first bing bong.
Bing bong.
Missed that sound. Only one so far from our guy Ardell checking in.
Excuse me. We have a Lundqvist and Harley from Ardell. Drug test the Zebras. The no call on Jake contact was a joke. The Canes drew the exact call in the first. Bull feces.
I agree with the last 2 words, bull feces.
What about the rest of it? You think it was the same? I mean, you talked about it earlier, but
It was not the same call.
not the same contact.
Sorry, Ardell. No, I totally did. Steals, both of his skates were almost in the blue paint and took him out from behind. Totally different than the other end of the ring.
So you think that, and I'm not debating, I'm just asking a follow-up here.
The steal one was 100% a penalty.
So
100%.
do you think that the fans of the AAC were a little overblown when they thought that was
I mean, what didn't they think was a penalty about it? Did he dive? No, he didn't even see him coming.
Oh, no, Kochetkov was definitely a penalty. There's no doubt. The steal one, no doubt.
Yeah.
Talk about the Ottinger one.
Yeah, I think the referees probably looked at it like you put yourself in that position. And goaltenders do. I can't tell if he skated and impeded his progress at all or, so yeah, I just think for sure. I'm just talking about the steal one. It was definitely a penalty.
Yeah, for sure.
And we've got Jordan checking in now. One of our, I believe she's one of our newest diehards as of last check.
Bing bong.
Not only a new diehard, but she's already up to 5 super chats. This was number 5 today. Jordan, a little Heiskanen and 99 Cup year, writes, watching games like the one we watched tonight can feel discouraging, Can you just tell us some encouraging things currently going on with the Stars? Come on, Luds. You are the pinnacle of optimism.
Jason Robertson has been very good. Hintz is back. I think for Hintz missing the games that he missed, I think he was good tonight. We didn't see a lot from him, but he's going to make a big difference. I didn't. Otherwise, after that, I don't know. It was one of them sluggish kind of games, and we should have expected more out of Dallas to be able to come up against a team tonight. Sometimes I wonder if the way that Carolina plays is they play this fast, straight lines, pucks to the net. I wondered if they were worried more about Carolina and not giving them opportunities than trying to go and take advantage of a tired team and go at them.
Which I would have thought this was a golden chance to catch them without their best legs.
Yeah.
And that takes away their best part of their game is their ability to wear you down.
The best way to do that is you make sure pucks are continually going into the offensive zone and you're spending more time there than you are, coming down the other way. And because there were times tonight, the first period was awful.
Yes.
Let's face it. Carolina spent way too much time, and they seemed to be winning all the races. If there were 50-50 pucks tonight in the first period, I felt Carolina did that, which you would think that would be Dallas being at home against a team that had to play in travel yesterday.
The second period was where the Stars should have won the game. If Kochetkov was just above average, Dallas gets a goal or two. And I really think, Luds, with the fatigue that, Carolina playing the night before in Chicago, if Dallas scores first, I'm not saying Carolina goes away. That's not in their DNA. But it becomes much, much harder when you're already fighting fatigue to have to dig deeper and fight and get back into the game. Again, only one goal, maybe not that big a deal, but boy, they had so many good looks and just couldn't put it in the net.
And the other thing, not that Rod Brindamore is a genius by playing Anderson last night and the other guy tonight. That's what you would do. He knew that it would be a tougher game tonight. So they did have a fresh goalie coming in, which would have been, their key for that team, is that there are going to be times that we're going to get hemmed into our zone, and we're going to need some saves from you. And he gave them exactly that.
John, we got another one. I was going to go back to the chat. We got a little DeSmith 99 cup here from Corey. Home power play anemia strikes again. Non-laser spotter. John, I can't tell you how many times people wanted the Steve Spot image when you were out, or when we did the remote broadcast when you were there but not there.
There's too much going on for the fill-in producers for me to give them every single little drop and every single little detail.
But there's a lot of requests for that.
Sorry, everyone. Well, he's back. There he is.
There he is. And by the way, another member of the chat during the game, post-game, was asking for a Angel haloed Elaine Nasruddin for when the penalty kill is good, which is basically every night. And I did have to tell, I think it was Lane, make sure to say please. And there was a polite response to that, John.
Yeah, I'll get on that tomorrow morning. We'll have it for Friday. And then the Golden Knights will score 6 power play goals.
And then we'll retire it forever.
Yeah. Another bing bong coming in. Lost my bing bong. I'm knocking rust off over here.
That's okay.
I don't have my like someone who plays an instrument doesn't pick it up for a while. I've completely lost my muscle memory, and I can't find anything
I'm
right
just
now.
glad that you're here. JT with a little Ben Johnston. Carolina seemed like the bigger team tonight physically. Also, Wyatt continues to step up when we need that big center. Future first-line center. Hints for Miller, who says no.
Me?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It's definitely not happening. It's not happening. And you're not getting rid of Rope.
No, he's your top line center.
Rope is your number one center here. He's going to be a top center in the league. And how old is Rope now? 25, 26?
I can look it up. I want to say it's mid-20s.
And, you're going to get Miller. Miller would be at 37 years old, making $8 million a year.
Rope's
He's got
older.
about 5 years left.
Rope's 28.
Okay.
A little older, but still, he's prime of his career.
Yeah. And Miller's, no, it's not happening. And you're not going to give up Miller. And I would think that the next one, if I'm thinking Vancouver, I would probably right now, the way Robo's playing now, they probably want Robo. I can see him wanting, obviously, Rope. I don't know, but you're not giving up what they want. Bottom line is it's not happening.
No chance.
Not
Bing
happening.
bong.
Another one. Boy, they came in late. Dustin, thank you. From, I would call that a Ludwig and Lindell, not a Dumba Lindell. Dustin says, couldn't get a break tonight. BTHO Vegas.
Does that beat the hell out of?
I think so.
Okay.
That would be how I would read that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, yeah, I a lot of times you got to make your own breaks, but Dallas had some good chances, and the right guys had some good chances. So, sometimes you just have to give credit to the goaltender on the other side under tough circumstances, and he had a good game.
There were some interesting questions at the top of the chat, John, all the way back. So I'm going to just throw a couple out here real quick. Prime Crusader asked, is Harley a defensive liability?
He can be, but the thing about it is he's got the puck most of the time. I mean, when Thomas has the puck and he has it in his own zone, especially when he's got it on his stick and his legs are moving, generally he carries the puck out of the zone. And once he gets into the offensive zone, he's, again, I've said it numerous times, I think he's our most creative. I think he's our best offensive defenseman as far as putting the puck in the net. So I think there's a little give and take there. I looked at his zone starts a month or so ago, and you'd be surprised. He doesn't get a lot of D-zone starts all the time either, but that could be because of Miro and Essa, Labushkin this year. But again, he's still young, and I think he's going to be a really good. He is a good defenseman.
Yeah, he's good. He's so much better than he used to be.
It's kind of what I said about Miro when he first got here. Miro plays defense with the puck on his stick, and he does it carrying the puck out of the zone, and so he doesn't have to spend as much time in his zone. Yeah, there's going to be times that you want him to be a little bit more aggressive and a little harder to play against in front of the net, and positionally and things like that. But again, there's a system that they play within, and sometimes it takes them out of where we would traditionally think of a defenseman being. So that's not all in their control. But I don't look at Thomas as a liability. I don't look at that. I mean, I think it's his decisions, but they're only going to get better as he gets older.
Steady Rhythms.
Bing bong.
Oh, we got another one. Sorry, I was trying to get to that, but we have another super chat. This one is a DeSmith and 99 Cup year from Matthew. The Stars need to play more direct sometimes.
That's 100. You're right on. That's my opinion too. I mean, there's a lot of perimeter play, and I've said this for a long time. When teams coming off the last year, coming the year before, teams that score a lot of goals from all different areas and beautiful highlight reel plays, it's hard to get them to change. And the same thing with an individual player. I mean, we've talked about Stankoven and those kind of things. But Stank always goes to where he goes, so we don't have to say anything bad but negative about him. He continues to get scoring chances. But yeah, you're right. Carolina is a team that they drive everything to the net. Pucks are always going to the net, and when you have a shot mentality offensively all the time, everybody else away from the puck knows where to go. When you have a passing mentality, a tic-tac-toe kind of mentality, guys stay on the perimeter because you're used to, finding the seams and the holes, and they end up being beautiful goals. And a lot of times they catch the goaltender, over on the same side because they can move the puck so quick. And so you kind of stay with that too long. But I agree, there's times where you wish you could have that switch to get guys we got to play a little bit more direct right now.
And as somebody wisely explained to me years and years ago when I was in the AHL, those passing lanes don't open up until you take shots and play direct.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm telling you, if you're a good defensive minded team, it's easy to take away the best lanes on the ice. And eventually, when you have players that skate with speed, and you're taking those lanes away, and you're wondering, well, you're not really doing anything. Well, I am doing something because their feet keep moving. And the more their feet keep moving on the perimeter of the ice, they get to a worse angle and a worse angle. Now your goaltender comes into play, and it's an easier save for them. But when you play a little bit too aggressive at times, you open up certain lanes, and there's people in the middle of the ice. Now all of a sudden you're getting a high-quality scoring chance or a high danger chance. So there is a method to playing a certain way against certain teams.
And to me, the best defensemen are the ones who are literally dictating where the puck carrier is going by showing them, hey, This is open, but you're steering them.
You're right, but I think of it as showing you where you're not going to get to. You're not going here. And so
you're literally making them say, you want that open ice over here because I'm taking this away, and all of a sudden they're in the corner.
Yeah, I've used this reference about Harley for a long time, and I just after when you watch videos of players before you get ready to play them, you know where they want to be, and you know what their go-to move is. And Harley was a guy that would just pull it in and shoot, but he wanted to be in a certain area of the ice. And so you make sure that you're in that area first, and then he wants to go someplace else, especially on the power play. Harley wants to be on his one-timer, the Ovechkin side. Obviously, they have that kind of shot. So we were an aggressive penalty kill for a long time, and then I started watching things when it got to the other side of the ice. Brett Hull would just kind of swing around, and he'd be out here. He wouldn't even be involved in the play because he's basically telling the other 4 guys on his team, I want the puck over here so I can be over here and I can take my one-timer. And I was like, let's just stand still when it gets to that side of the ice. And we're just going to – now all of a sudden you're kind of playing 4-on-4 because you got one guy that's pissed off that he can't be in his spot. So you can find those kind of players. To me, I've always felt that it's a lot – defending is about characteristics of what the other team does. Where do they like to be? What's their go-to move? And take that one away. The good players, take that play away from them and make them go to plan B because they go to plan A for a reason because they're really good at it. So if I can get them to go to a lesser percentage spot or shot or something like that, I think it puts a little bit more favor in your category.
All right, thank you so much. We got a ton of great super chats tonight. Love it. Let's move on to talking to Sam next on our postgame show here on DLLS. Well, guess what? We have a new exciting first ever watch along at DLLS, but it's not what you think it is. It's actually in person over at COSM. That's right. The first watch party, not just a watch along where you're watching along on YouTube, but actually going to COSM to see a very unique experience. Mavericks versus Celtics, February 6th, 6:30 p.m. And there are
Go
very
Celtics.
I was waiting for that. There are very limited tickets left. DLLS diehards can get 20% off. They've got to go to the website, alldls.com. If there are any left, I forgot to check with Ben today, our GM, to see how few are. He told us if we sell this part out of our allotment of tickets to go watch the Mavs play the Celtics at COSM, and by the way, the Mavs podcast guys will be there. They're going to do the show from here, but then they're going to hustle over to COSM, watch the game, and come back. Then Ben said his efforts will be for our second watch along, a Stars or watch party. We'll do a Dallas Stars hockey game. So go to the website, alldls.com. Get your tickets. There aren't very many left. You get 20% off if you're a diehard, which, by the way, if you want to be a diehard, scan that QR code on the screen or go to the website, click on diehard, and support our show, all 4 of our shows, Cowboys, Mavs, and Rangers, as well as the Stars. Help us grow. Tell your friends. I still think one of the big things, I know that people watching are enjoying our show. They say it in the chat. We hear it when we're over at the AAC or around town. Big thing is, I don't think as many people that are sports fans in Dallas still know that we exist and that we're doing this great Dallas Stars show, or Mavs or Cowboys or Rangers. So how do you help us? Sign up to be a diehard. That's a big amount of support. Also, like and subscribe and tell your friends and family and pass it around. Any diehards, Dallas Stars fans you know, let them know we exist. And there's Sam, who must clearly be freezing inside the press box.
Shut up, John.
What did you say? Oh, because you said
What's up?
Celtics. That's why. Hi, Sam. How's it going over there?
Hey guys, it's a little cold over here, but doing well.
Cold.
It's cold in here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Freezing in here today. I got a
Well,
jacket on and everything.
That was disappointing because it was a very close game and they just didn't find a way to get over the top. What's post-game reaction like at the AAC tonight?
Yeah, first of all, number one thing that multiple people talked about is a crappy bounce, right? Or a more explicit way of saying that directly from Jake Ottinger. But the other way of looking at it is you can't let that bounce happen, right? You got to be more focused after you score a goal. That if you look back at that play, it's the Stars exiting their zone way too early and leaving way too much space for for Walker to come down the wing. And of course, it's a bad bounce in the end, but the chance is created from a mistake on Dallas's end, and that just can't happen in that situation. I said it right before that when it was either 1-0 or 2-1. Carolina allowed a wide open 3-on-2, 3-on-1, forechecking too hard. Those are just the kind of things that you get when you're tired. And Carolina playing back to back, Dallas playing a ton of hockey. Those are the mental lapses that you see in those scenarios. So a bad bounce, an unfortunate scenario, but Dallas didn't do a good enough job of not letting that happen. And it's not the first time we've seen it this season. We've seen them struggle to play well on that shift right after a goal. That's one of the most important shifts of the game. So that's a tough one there. But the big one for me, and we asked about it a little bit, is the lack of comebacks. This team is now 0-13 when trailing after 2 periods, and that's a lot, say, compared to last season when they felt like they were always going to tie the game up and at least force overtime. We asked Pete, or Taylor actually, but Taylor Barrett asked him specifically any explanation, and he said, I can't explain it. He said, last year we were really good at it, this year we're not. And I know our show will love this. He said, maybe Joe Pavelski. Maybe that's as simple as that. And really though, it's funny to mention, but not just the way Joe plays the game, but the way he rubs off on other people. Those are the type of goals that you score to tie the game late. You don't get a ton of beautiful one-time slap shots into an upper corner to tie a game with an empty net. It's a lot of scrambles around the net, deflections, puck off of skates, and they're just not creating enough of that when they are trailing, and especially when they're tired and things like that. But just an odd stat for a team that was so good at making comebacks last season and in past years.
Goes right back to making life harder in front of their net. Like when you mentioned Joe, Joe didn't go in there and he didn't break people's ankles and things like that, but he went in there and he stayed in there and he paid the price to go in there, but he paid the price and he resulted in goals or a puck that went off him and went to somebody else. And so you have to have more than one guy that wants to do that. And you just, like, when it comes down to third period kind of stuff and you're trailing to get a goal, and it's not happening on the way that you traditionally are doing it or scoring goals, you have to change. You have to be a little bit more direct.
I saw in the post-game quotes from Pete, he talked about it being a playoff type chess match, neither team giving a lot of room or opportunities. I mean, it's not like this team doesn't have experience with it. They have plenty of rookies that maybe haven't been in that, but they also have a majority of their roster that is not unfamiliar with that. Are we at that point already? I feel like there's a lot of hockey left to go. I feel like Carolina was playing tight more because of the fatigue factor in their travel out of necessity than it was, hey, we're playing really shut it down playoff defense.
Well, when he uses the phrase chess match, I think of, is he talking about matchups? Because that's a chess match.
Between the coaches.
That's what you would typically say. And maybe that's not what he means, but I thinking war or lack of war, instead of going into those areas. And, again, I don't know how many times, you'd have to go back and watch how many of the saves that were made by the other team's goaltender were where he couldn't see things and he scrambled and found pucks versus, the saves that he just made. I mean, was there a lot of traffic in front of him? And was he getting bumped into a lot? We know he got bumped into once, which apparently to some people wasn't a penalty, but I'm just saying, like, did we make life miserable for him? Have we made life miserable when we're going into the third period down a goal?
I don't think so. And two things to your point, Luds. Pete actually called it managing the game. He specifically said what Owen just said, which is, it's not always that we want to play this type of game. It's just that sometimes you have to. And he talked about, again, being tired and how much hockey they've played versus Carolina also playing a bunch and playing last night. And he said, it was two teams trying to manage the game and use the chess match and find the answer to get the one goal or in the end, 2 goals. And he just said we didn't manage it well enough, and we didn't get that first goal that we thought we deserved when they felt like they were controlling it in the first period and midway through the second. And then they said they just weren't able to find the answer. But on the flip side, Luds, I said to Owen and to Robert Tiffin that it didn't look like Kochetkov was seeing the puck very well. And I know it's silly to think it, but I actually watched him in warm up, and that normally I don't put any stock into that, but he was kind of fighting it. It was like a bunch of pucks went off his glove and in and from long range shots from the warm up. And then that happened multiple times on Stankoven's shot. He kind of whiffed on it and hit him in the neck or mask. A couple of those shots that he didn't look like he was tracking well. And I'm with you. They end up with what? I don't even remember, 16, 18 shots in the game. That's not enough to, even if they're all screenshots, that's just not enough against the goalie, especially if you see him struggling to see it a little bit. Just throw the puck to the net and get to those areas and just make it a little bit messier. You don't need a ton of energy to go stand and be bodies in front of the net, right? You need the energy to be spinning around in the zone and trying to find that perfect pass that they seem to always want to find. So I just don't think that they had enough in the gas tank tonight, and that bounce just really killed them in the end.
Got to put the will before the skill sometimes.
Speaking of energy, the Stars just sent out a release saying that they will not have a practice tomorrow. They will have a day off. It was scheduled to have practice at noon tomorrow, and then I believe it was 11 o'clock on Thursday, which is still on the schedule. But they haven't had 2 non-game days in a while, a couple weeks. Now they get an opportunity, and I'm sure this is a reaction to the way they saw their team play tonight.
It could be like in just saying, we know we have a good team. We know we can do this. We know that. Maybe they're just down, they're down a pint, and they need to get some rest.
I mean, if somebody wants to hear some optimism, Dallas Stars are a good team, right? A win on Sunday over the Red Wings put them ahead of Minnesota for second place in the Central Division. Then Minnesota went into Colorado yesterday and they won, and so they moved back ahead. The Stars, with their game in hand, could have leapfrogged back. And they're only, Luds, you talked about Winnipeg kind of coming back down just a little bit. They're 6 points ahead of Dallas. Remember, Winnipeg had a historic start to the season. What was it? First 15 games without a loss, which was ridiculous. Well, their win tonight would have been a 4-point margin with still Winnipeg playing one more game than Dallas. It's attainable. I don't think that this regular season is resting on whether or not the Stars win the Central Division, but they have a chance. And so that's the optimism. They've been playing for a while without Mason Marchment. They've been playing for 3 games without roopehintz. That's a big deal. They've been playing forever without Tyler Seguin, who was having a phenomenal year. With all those things being said, they're still in a top 3 spot, 47 games out of 82 in. So this isn't, there's no sky is falling, John. There's no, our pets' heads are falling off. It's just simply a night where if you get to the end of the year and you're a couple points shy of the spot you would prefer, whether it's first, second, third, you name it, it's a game like this where you go, those are 2 points we could have had.
Yeah, I think what they need to do, and they're probably going to do it, I believe, is they need to finish ahead of Minnesota, whoever they are. They need to get home ice in that first round, because I think whoever Winnipeg plays in the first round, if they stay up there, they're going to have a hard time.
You think so?
I do.
Why?
Is that I know they have the goaltender.
But is that the criticism of Connor Hellebuck? He's lights out in the regular season and then never the same in the playoffs.
No, not because of him. I just don't know if I believe. I don't believe in the depth. I don't, and I think there always seems to be some injuries, and I know Scheifele's a good player, and Kyle Connor's a good player, and I just think it's going to be them 3 guys, and I don't think it's going to be enough to get them through a series.
Our boss is in the chat now. Would you like to hear what he had to say?
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Oh boy.
Well, GM Ben actually said a couple of things. You ready for this? Guess it was casual dress night in the press box tonight, huh? I would like to point out that for only 50% of the attending DLS Stars show, I dressed down here, but we had the full assortment of suit, jacket, tie, and whatever. Oh, wait a minute. We have a...
No, this is me giving you the 1 minute warning.
The one. I thought you were saying, hold on a second. We have one more from GM Ben that said, is Sam about to go skiing after the game? Just missing the goggles. He could easily have the Shady Rays. You know, Shady Rays has goggles?
I was just going to bring that up, and I was going to say something.
All
right, well, we are in the last minute, so we'd like to thank everybody who joined in on our television platforms. Make sure to like and subscribe here on the pod, and check out alldlls.com. Okay, now that that's out of the way, Sam, would you care to respond?
No, but I'm going to ignore both of those. But what I do want to say, and we'll dive more into it on our regular show tomorrow, but I just wanted to bring it up to Luds. Luds, Miro Heiskanen played 1:40 on the first power play, the entire 2 minutes on the second power play, and the entire final 2 minutes and 16 seconds of that game when trailing. And guess what? The guy who played 6 fewer minutes in the game scored the only goal of the game.
Mic drop.
Why?
Boom.
Why?
Why? Well, I believe that, Sam, you are in the best position to ask that question after the game.
It's true.
Did you ask that
no.
question exactly like you just asked me?
No. At practice, I want to ask because I want to ask multiple follow-up questions about it, and that's what the plan is.
Well, I think you need to
tomorrow,
use
but
it
now for
verbatim.
Thursday.
Verbatim what you just said.
Yeah, I really want.
That'll be a
What you
mic
did
drop.
as well.
Multiple.
That'll
in
be a
front of
mic
Pete,
drop.
in front of the media and the cameras. Go like that. It would be super professional, and it would make us look really good.
And we
Yes,
want
it
it
would
on.
be good.
We want it on film.
You want to video Sam dancing and
I'll
doing a
be
mic
self-
drop.
I'll do a
Actually, I
selfie
have a
at the same
pass,
time.
Sam. I have a pass. I'm going to come in and just sit there and watch it.
No, you're not.
Yes, I will.
prove
If
it.
you promise me you're going to do that, I'll sit there and watch it word for word.
Oh, Luddy.
We're going to run this back. John is taking notes right now. I want to hear it verbatim.
If I
will
did
be
that,
there
I think
Thursday.
I'd be
I
on
want to hear
Indeed.
you do this.
And then moon him if he doesn't tell you what you want to hear. Go full Commando Sam on him.
Now we got good ideas. We'll talk about it more tomorrow, but I just think it's.
No,
I just think
he's
it's
trying
a
to get
mistake.
out of this one.
Sam, you missed
think it's a
our
mistake.
VOD before the pregame show, but we brought up Ludz's old teammate, Chris Chelios. Every now and then, you've got to remind them. So every now and then, we need a Commando Sam moment to remind everybody what's possible.
Facts.
And all I can think of now, Ludz, is that picture of Sam in front of the fan back when it was hot in the studio.
Oh.
I know. All right. With all that in mind, let's go to our man of the match tonight. Luddy, who's your man of the match?
I'm going with their goaltender. I don't like. It's hard not to. You know, again, tired team comes in. Whether you shot it right at him or not, he made the saves that he needs to.
Sam?
Kotkaniemi. 2 goals. Went hard to the net. Great shot on the first one. Simple enough.
It's the goaltender for me. As good as Kotkaniemi's 2 goals were, Kochetkov was the reason why Dallas didn't score multiple goals. They had tons of great chances. And if he wasn't as good as he was tonight, Dallas wins this one maybe in the same style that they beat Detroit on Sunday, which is you get a 2 or 3 goal lead against a tired team and you just manage the clock the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So for me, Kochetkov was definitely my man of the match. The challenge now turns to Friday because guess what? Dallas gets 2 days to recover, maybe there's no way they're going to have a hard practice on Thursday. Maybe they'll have a light one, but at least it will be a practice, and that'll be good for Mason Marchment to continue to work his way back because he did skate this morning
They're
with the
probably
team.
going to be working on their power play because now that they're going to have a new quarterback in the power play, you would think that they got to get,
You're assuming that Sam's going to make this move.
At least give him 20 seconds. I mean, jeez.
No, I say at least give them the first minute.
Give him a minute.
And give them 5 games to get the first minute, or give them 3 games.
Yep.
And
Here's the thing, Luds. On top of that previous one I was talking about, I think it was the first power play. They changed units a minute into the power play. Had an offensive zone face-off with 1:05
We
still
talked about
left.
this.
And
He
all
wasn't
4
here for this part.
All 4 changed except for Miro.
have you heard about
I
the?
just
Hey,
think-
Sam, have you heard about the Beatles?
Sorry, Sam. We talked about this in our
The
first
Beatles.
segment.
Have
It's
you heard
okay.
about the band The Beatles?
He wasn't here for the first segment.
No,
yeah,
I
they
haven't.
broke up.
Oh.
You don't get it.
That laugh. So, guys, they have that Thursday schedule, day off tomorrow. Early game on Friday. It's a 6:30.
Why do you make such a big deal over half hour?
Well, because I want to make sure that we're not late.
Oh, I
That's
thought you were
time.
making it like they're got a 6:30 game.
No.
Oh, okay.
We're doing a public service for our fans.
Oh, I see.
I
It's a
want to make
trap-
sure
it's a
the
trap
Stars
game,
fans
Lutz.
don't show
That's
up at
important.
7
I
and
thought you
miss the
meant it
first
for
period.
us.
No.
Okay.
It's a
It's
6:30
a
game.
trap game.
But this one is not an ESPN Plus game. This is an ESPN game. So if you have ESPN on cable, satellite, or the streaming, you can watch the game. It's
So
not
we
just
can't watch it on Victory again?
No.
Are we blind?
no, it's
No.
an ESPN.
No.
Buccigross is doing the game again. Your favorite.
Oh.
You
So-
can watch it. You can watch it on your rabbit ears, though, Luds.
It'll be that is probably not true because I don't think you can get ESPN with rabbit ears. But anyway, Friday, Vegas Golden Knights. Leds, they're having a great season as they usually do. They are currently number 1 in the Pacific, 3 points behind Winnipeg for the best record in the Western Conference. They have not had a great last little stretch. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. So,
but again,
long
all
season
teams
stuff?
the schedule is catching up to people, up to teams. Everybody has to go through it. We're not going to see 7 or 8 teams that are going 8-2 in their past 10 games. It's just, you have to deal with it. So, and that it's why everything, you think you're there, you're going to pull ahead of somebody, and somebody runs out of some gas or gets a flat tire on the highway, and they spend 3 hours trying to change it, and so things happen.
Nobody had a flat tire on the highway in this group,
Not
right?
me.
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody has gas in this group either.
So it's a back-to-back because they have to play in St. Louis on Sunday. Now, St. Louis is definitely not in the same caliber as Vegas.
But they can be a formidable foe.
Yes.
In their building. If they go with Binnington, he seems to find ways to, stand up to the big teams. And I think they're a team that they play hard. Are they the most gifted team? No. And they have a way of hanging around games and finding somebody that scores a goal. They get a couple big saves. And so you take care of the first one. Don't worry about the second one first. Take care of Vegas.
In case you're curious, and I'm sure you
I'm
are,
not.
well, GM Ben is saying that they should not be thrilled with Vegas.
Oh, Ben can say it, but we can't?
Well, he's using the little self-censoring. Vegas plays the day before in St. Louis. So we've got a little trifecta going in 3 days.
Okay.
Blues Golden Knights in St. Louis on Thursday. Stars Golden Knights in Dallas on Friday. Stars Blues in St. Louis on Saturday. So conceivably, just like we were tonight, Dallas should be the rested team against Vegas on Friday, and then they should be the tired team on Saturday against the Blues. How do you think the Stars are going to use their goalies this weekend?
I say that Jake will be playing against Vegas. And I think if it's a 24-25 shot game or less, I throw Jake in there again on the next day. But that's not going to happen. So,
Sam?
I agree. I don't think Jake plays twice. I think Casey's earned the right to play, but I believe Jake should play against Vegas, and I believe they are going to crush these guys.
I believe that they are going to crush these guys.
Well, is there anything else you guys want to add before we wrap this one up tonight?
I thought that was a perfect way to
I
end
did
it.
too. Oh, look at Sam. He's just playing with it again. Sam, give us a nice big heart or rock star or whatever you got.
I don't know. The heart didn't work last time. Maybe because I'm bad at making hearts.
There you go.
Do the thumbs up, right?
Yeah.
2 thumbs
double.
up. Yeah, little fireworks. Yeah, see?
What did Sean
figure
do
this
to this?
No, it's
this one.
it's the rock hands. Yeah, look at that.
That's
The
ridiculous.
lasers, that's fantastic. We have a normal show tomorrow. It's at 2
Nothing's
o'clock.
normal around here.
That's true. We have a daily podcast afternoon broadcast at 2 o'clock live from our DLS studios. We also have one on Thursday, which I believe is 1 o'clock.
Correct.
That's
And
correct.
we also have
Bing bong.
And
we
we have a bing bong.
a late super chat from Michael, a Masterton Stanley Cup year. Question when... Oh, it disappeared on me.
Sorry, I tried to catch Sam going off camera. There we go.
Question when... Is that Nils?
I think that's the
Yes.
intention, yes.
Nils made the turnover. Should Brendan have jumped more on Martin Necas? In the building, it appeared he was lazy attacking him. Also, this shift after goals, is that coaching or players?
Depends on who Brendan Smith was with at the whole time in the zone, because that's the way it works. I don't remember exactly what it was, but if he was with Necas before that all happened, then yes, because that's the way they play. If he wasn't with Necas, then he stays with the guy that he's with.
Now, when a puck's turned over, that always puts the other players in a bad
Nils
position.
turned it over twice. I mean,
Yep.
and what Nils tried to do after I got done telling you in the pregame show about how I've been working on the flippers like the guys do, and I said they're all so damn good at
Yep.
it. That's what he was trying to do in the first play, and that's why it fumbled off his stick. The flipper didn't work, and then he gave the second one away, and then that's what cost him.
What about the goals after scoring, the conceding one back? Is that coaching or players?
That's players. What's the coach supposed to do? I mean,
They should tell him not to give up a
Intensity.
goal.
Jesus, is that coaches or
Your
players?
intensity.
Now
your
you could,
intensity
if
should
you
go
want to
up.
go ahead and blame putting somebody, the wrong
The
personnel
matchup
out there.
right?
But when you're at home, you're putting out there who you want to put out there. And again, I think Dallas is a really good. I mean, they are one of the best teams in the league at suppressing shots in their own zone. It's just every once in a while, because of certain way they cover guys, there's going to be a 10-bell save that needs to be, shut down by your goaltender.
Well, thank you, Michael, for the late super chat. We will be on with Sean tomorrow. All four of us will be on the show at 2 o'clock, and then Thursday at 1 o'clock, and then we have a 6 o'clock pregame show. No, 5:45.
Well, you got to get the scooter back and forth, so we got
to be 5:45.
Yeah,
so it's
an
early one on
maybe
Friday.
don't run through a red light, huh?
It was clearly yellow,
on.
and you are making
get out
stuff
of town.
up.
It's yellow.
If you can
Per
see,
hour.
I
No
am
way
in
you're
the
getting through
intersection before.
Oh, I
it
don't know. That's red.
No,
That's red.
And then you're in the intersection by the time
You're
it's
right,
green,
Sam.
and
That's
I think
red.
I think it's green again by the time you accelerate.
I would
through
also
there.
like to point out that
Elon, red,
there are
a
many
red
drivers
light.
around DFW that don't understand that when you have a blinking yellow turn, that you are allowed to creep out into the middle of the intersection and then turn when it's clear. So
you were also turning onto a sidewalk on the side of a one-way street that was going the
Tell that
opposite
to us
direction.
next
So
time
I
you
don't know if
come
that totally applies.
I don't know if there's a law in the
guys.
books for that one. It's a tricky one.
Yeah, tell that to us next time when you come up with your little bicycle in a garbage bag.
Well, I
carrying
hope
up the
not.
Pieces. Yeah.
All right, Sam, thanks so much for everything. We'll see you tomorrow.
He's already gone.
Craig Ludwig, our producer, John Anderson. I'm Owen
gone.
Newkirk. Thanks for joining us tonight. Stars lose 2-1 to the Hurricanes. We'll see you at 2 o'clock for our DLS podcast tomorrow, right here from the lounge, from the studio, I think.
My God, wrap it
See ya.
up.
Tomahawk City.
We all silly like the mayor.